So we've got our box finished. It's all dry, completely dry everywhere. I have just taken a sanding block and any little bits that were just stuck out, I've just sanded them a little bit just to make it smooth. It's mostly on bits like this where there might be some rough edges and sort of corners like that. So I've just sanded them all down. I haven't done these edges because I don't want those to fray. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to have it as a box closing like that and closed all the time, or whether I'm actually going to hang it on the wall from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hole punch, and I've marked halfway across this width just with pencil, and I'm just going to punch a hole. A lot of you have seen me do this before, and if you do it, take your hole punch the wrong way round, take the guard off that keeps the little bits from falling out, and put it there. You can see where your hole's going to be. So that's just a little tip. I've got some hole reinforcers. These are inked with Distress ink Vintage Photo. This one I've actually put a little bit of metallic wax on because I think I'm going to have this as a sort of a little bit, not steampunky, but a little bit of metallic in it. So I'm going to put one on that side and one on the other. So you just get a little bit of wax and you basically just rub it onto your hole reinforcer and it makes it look metallic. And then you can peel it off. Got to make sure you don't get the wax underneath because that would stop it from sticking, and pop it on. I'm lucky the hole reinforcers are just the right width for that lid of the box, but if not you could just cut a little bit of paper to a square that fitted and then punch a hole in the middle and then use that. I'm going to ink it all up with Vintage Photo because I want it sort of a distressed vintagey look, and then it will make all my papers that were sort of white go to a vintage colour. I'm being very slapdash, not being perfect. I'm concentrating more on the edges because that's where most of the wear would be, so I like them to be a bit browner. I'm going over the brown papers as well because it will just make it all look. Be very aware that you will get it on your hands, so wear gloves if you don't like to have inky hands. I've got permanent suntanned hands, not with the sun, just with the Vintage Photo. So you see it's all going a nice brown colour and looks very old and distressed as if it's been kicking about forever. Just be aware as well, where you have your hands on it, it will take the ink off. And we'll probably heat dry it at some point as well, just to seal it. Don't forget your edges. They're very, very white. The corners. So you can see the difference. It is a complete difference. Right, so when you've got it all inked up, then bend things like this. Work your ink into those creases and then they aren't as white. Put inside a little as well just to make sure it gets You won't see the majority of the inside because whatever you put in will cover it up. I plan on putting tags or something. But there we are. As I say, you get very, very brown hands. So if I was having it a box to close, I'm just going to get some string, go through the hole, the ends of my string through the loop, so you've got two ends coming out. Then I could then wind that round, wind that the other way, and tie in a knot or a bow there, and that would keep it closed. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do that or whether I'm actually going to have it to hang on the wall, which I could hang it on a hook through there or just hang it from a hook by the string. So I'll leave that on for now and decide later. I'm going to do a few numbers because I want a sort of industrial, as I say, not steampunky, but similar idea. This is an indigo blue stamp which I love, and it's just numbers. And I'm just randomly going to stamp here and there. But it won't be perfect, and I'm not bothered about it being perfect. I want it to be random. Put your hand inside the box, you can press against your hand. Do some on the bottom, not that you'll see the bottom very much. So you see I've got my hand in there, I'm supporting that bit of the box, and then I can press against my hand when I stamp. Bottom bit. There we are, nice and industrial and grungy. I did that with archival ink because it is permanent. So that's that. Now I think I'm going to decorate it with some of these. Now I've made these just out of craft card. I'll show you what they are. They were from the works, and there were sheets of craft card to be used as a stencil, but obviously they're not a very sturdy stencil because they're just cardboard. They're sort of a couple of uses and then you would throw them away. I bought them to cut the numbers and letters out separately like this. I then backed it with another piece of plain craft card, glued them together. When it was completely dry, I gessoed everywhere, inside, the back, the front, this. So you basically had this that was just completely black. Black inside, that's the top layer, that's the bottom layer. Everywhere was black, just with black gesso. Once that dried, I just used my wax again and just rubbed it over the top, and it gives it a distressed metal look. I'm going to glue that one on there. Now this is just some tape from one of these. It's a Dymo label printer, and you turn the dial and it impresses your letters onto black tape. I'll just do one. M A R C U S I'm never quite sure how to get a gap, so I go somewhere between the A and the cut for a gap. Then you cut it off. And this is what you get. Behind some of the letters are sort of up a bit further. They aren't always straight. I don't mind that. I quite like the randomness of that. They're sticky backed, so you can peel the little tab. It has a little tab. Peel that off and then you can stick it on. What I've done is I've held it down on my craft mat and gessoed the whole thing, so that is completely covered in gesso on the front surface. I've then, once that was dry, rubbed a little bit of gilding wax over it again, my Finnabair gilding wax, and this is what you get. I've done the alphabet and numbers. So what I think I'm going to do is possibly put it all the way around like that, and then it gives it a faux industrial look. To make it look a little bit more grungy, I've decided, because I've got black on there, what I might do with my archive link is just ink my edges in black a little bit. Just make them look a little bit more sort of mucky, distressed. I've yet to heat set my distress ink, so I might get finger marks in it. And then you get a really sort of distressed, grungy look. Now that's quite white, so I'm going to go in there with a little bit more black. These are just makeup sponges I use. I've got the proper distress tools, but I use makeup sponges as well. So that's all there, there, and there. Right. A little bit on that edge as well. There we are. In this hot weather, I always put your lids onto your ink pads straight away, else they will dry out. So I'm going to glue that on there. Just be aware, if you're going to have it fastened, I don't mind that going over there, I'm probably going to hang it on the wall, that you don't have your number too far so that this won't come down. So I'm going to glue that on there. I might have some of that on the top there, we'll see. This is my extra strong PVA glue. Which I'm going to use just to stick that on there. And again, you can press from the back as well as the front. I'll set that aside to dry. Come here. It's fighting back today. Just wondering whether I should have that on there. Not sure. I've got a gold strip of numbers. Put that up there. Might just fit it between there. Let's have a look. No, don't like it there. I think that might just go on there. Yeah, I'm going to stick that on there. Again with my extra strong PVA glue. And you don't have to have it sort of grungy and industrial like this. You could do these and use sort of pinks and lilac inks and a flower stamp. You could gesso it once you'd got your initial covering of paper on and it was dry and you'd sanded it and everything. You could gesso it so it would knock it back, make it all look sort of unified, all the different papers. And then you could stamp with archival ink some flowers, really anything you wanted. You could decoupage it on the top. It's really up to what you want to do. I've done a grungy sort of looking one, but you can do whatever you want to do. The choice is yours. I'm going to make some tags, and I think I'm going to have it hung on the wall like that.